1 to the first power plus 2 to the second power plus 3 to the third power equals the happy number 32. A happy number is any number that can be replaced by the sum of the squares of its digits, repeating the process until 1 arrives at 1, which or whom by itself exists in isolation. 32 reduces to 5, represented by the planet Mercury, the silvery messenger, Lord of words, and the casting of spells. The 32nd element is geranium, a shiny white and silver metallic material, which is used in semiconductors, fiber optic cables, and solar panels, meaning that it facilitates computing, communication, and conservation. There are 32 teeth in the average human mouth. One of the earliest and most complete sacred texts of Theravada Buddhism, the 32nd hexagram of the I Ching, is Heng, representing duration, the arousing thunder above, and the delicate wind below. Queen Vesta, daughter of mighty time, mistress of ever-burning fire, you dwell in the center of the house. May you raise the holy initiates in these sacred rites. May you grant them unwithering youth, wealth as well, prudence and cleanliness. Home of the blessed gods, humankind's mighty buttress, eternal, many-shaped, beloved, silvery white. Smile, O Blessed One, kindly accept these offerings. Waft upon us prosperity. Breathe upon us gentle-handed help.
Vesta, the star, born from a spark of lightning, emerged in innocence and unformed mind, existing not in flesh, but as pure potential, amidst a raging storm, the birth of a planet. A dazzling ember, silvery bright, not yet aflame, alit on the tip of a branch in the tree of life. Shimmering and sparkling in a dance of intuition, the fiery sprite flickered from branch to branch, with no method, no meaning, no hesitation, whirling and twirling in unfettered joy. From spark to ember, ember to flame, a vital force at once shoots forth from the magician's wand, even as it draws in the flame, a joining of forces, From without, so within, and within as without. The radiant unity of the original torch illuminates the sacred fires of original mind, awakening it unto itself and separation from the all, ushering in a new beginning through alchemical will, summons the forgetfulness of spirit into containment. Behold the Vestal Virgin, the one unbeholden to any other than herself. She who is known by many names, the priestess, the sheep-hope, Isis, Lilith, Diana, Vesta, revealer of man's deepest fear, that he is unneeded by her. The future is unknowable, as is the beginning, the only map, intuition, whose latitudes cannot be seen by common eye. The waiting earth is ready for fertile seeds, ready to be impregnated with love, bound to release in bountiful joy all manner of leaping creatures, blossoming flowers in the rain of women and men. The book of knowledge has been translated from key to code, returned from the dark side of the moon, and placed into our hands. An ancient warrior sits upon his throne of skull and bone in front of a mountain bloodied red by his violence. His reign will not abdicate easily. Sacrifice will be required, trauma endured, consequences paid. Then victory will come. Psyche will return, wounded and battle-scarred, freedom justly won. Her strength remains. She will rekindle, heal, and thrive again. The sacred fire still burns through war and strife, even as it fades and is renewed as the rising and setting sun. When soldiers drop their swords, teachers pick up their quills and write the songs of healing and reconciliation that we will all sing together round hearth and home. Beware the pedophile priests, guileful gurus, and ivory tower pedagogues who will hypnotize you with one hand while fleecing you with the other. Look instead to the school marms, the nurses, the essential workers, all of whom demonstrate the majesty and sacrifice of leading by example. There are two fires in human hearts, and each requires tending. One fire is Vesta, she of life, illumination, imagination, and creation. The other is Vulcan, fire of death, destruction, violence, and greed. Which one you feed is the one that grows. The fire of love calls to us all. Both fires must be fed, but they must also be constrained. Each has its own divine purpose, but their power is so great, when left unconstrained, their destiny is to consume all they encounter. When no fuel is left, Vesta and Vulcan will burn themselves out. When the sacred fire consumes itself, its light seed fades into shadow. When the fire of volcanoes dissipate, ashen clouds extinguish the light of the world. As Vesta enters Leo, it is a time of strength. She calmly strokes the lion's mane, not tamed, but in sacred pause to inhale her sweet breath. The air a bridge between fleshly beast and luminous spirit. Their breaths entwine and intermingle, bringing a great and fiery roar, demonstrating a shared power and the responsibility of protection. High up on a mountain, a lone ancient man stands on a ledge, holding an unlit lantern, in patient watch for a flame. Enduring a 10,000-year silence, he neither smiles nor sighs when a spark of Vesta finds his wick, marking a beacon to all who seek. All of existence being ruled by neither chance nor fate means coincidence is destiny by another name. Spirit, like matter, neither being created nor destroyed, exists in a constant state of transubstantiation, the embodiment of emptiness into form. Knowing this prepares us to meet any challenge, to act in any circumstance. The mother goddess on a block of stone wields the sword of justice. Before her stand equal the poor, the decrepit, the downtrodden, the despised, the saints, the sinners, the rich, the learned, the wicked, the oppressed, the oppressor. Justice is for all or it is for none. An imbalance of power will always be leveled. Fool and sage alike accept her wise counsel, reconcile their past, set forth toward a future built on humility and honor, lest they invite her wrath. The green spirit, The winter king, the seeker of wisdom, in loving surrender sacrifice their understanding, subvert their hearts, suspend their well-founded beliefs, relinquish their heavenly ordained rule in sacred pause, freeing themselves into ecstatic relief, knowing the road awaits, the journey ever present, everlasting. There is a time for every season and every purpose. There is a time to build and a time to dismantle, a time to gather and a time to stay home, a time to move forward and a time to step back. There's a time to be born and a time to die. The fate with no name awaits your call. The dove of death, she comes for all. Ego, the dark god of unquenchable desire, looms from birth to death, opportunistically amplifying natural human need and desire, unleashing the insatiable cannibal of attachment who turns all living creatures in its path into self-devouring ghouls. In woeful times of plague, environmental destruction, and looming societal collapse, the twin towers of patriotism and authority promise safety and protection, but their assurances are false. They feed you fear and insecurity by unleashing illusory predatory ghosts no more substantial than the wind. Then they feed on your fear and insecurity, which becomes the excretory manure needed to fertilize the very real gargantuan Godzillas of greed and grief that are hiding in the midst of their deceit. There is better cover on a grassy plain under the dark of night than in their temples of capital and perpetual war. Fear not the night, fear not the dark, for they are the companions of the sacred fire, Vesta, who is the same as the earth. Vesta, heavenly heart of hearth and home, just as the mighty earth is home and hearth to all of her children, four-legged, two-legged, rooted, and slithering alike. Vesta, ever-present ember, everlasting flame, spark of life and love, exists in the tiny beating heart of a snail, just as she illuminates the Milky Way, the constellations, our blessed living sun, and all the stars of the universe. As we open our hearts to receive her light, so do we release the ocean of light within and pour it back into the world. When the light from within has been released and revealed, the moon comes out. La Lady Luna. She too reflects Vesta's love in the dark of night, revealing our deepest fears, nightmares, insecurities, and inner demons, exposing them for the mere shadows that they are. As night is to day, moon mystic mother is but a vestal mirror to our Father Sun. Living under the guiding protective light of the moon and the sun, we can never lose our way, for intuition is always at hand. Ignorance falls away. Everything is illuminated, clear, simple, full of love. Out of this glorious relief emerges a new spirit of creativity and joy. Our conscious and unconscious minds are united and give birth to a new self. This new child, the embodiment of a dancing spark over an open flame, is not the innocent ember of unformed mind and potential from before, but a child born of experience, knowledge, and wisdom. Judgment has fallen away that this reawakening could take place. External measures of standards and identification no longer arise. Initiation leads to awareness, which leads to transformation. A cycle has been completed. The world continues to turn. The magnificent light of love and joy continue to burn.
Traveling at night, the headlights were bright, and we'd been up many an hour. All through my brain, oh, came the refrain of home and its warming fire. And home sings me of sweet things. My life there has its own wings. Fly over the mountains I'm standing still, traveling at night. The headlights were bright, but soon the sun came through the trees. Around the next bend, the flowers will send the sweet smell of home in the breeze. And home sings me of sweet things. My life there has its own wings. Fly over the mountain, though I'm standing still.